So as many of you know, I am currently on a transatlantic crossing going from New York City to Rotterdam in the Netherlands. What you may not know is I do have a couple stops in the UK on this trip, and I've never been there before. So in anticipation of this trip, I was super curious as to what it's going to be like in the UK. So I reached out to UK content creator Emma Cruises with a few questions about what I should expect when I travel to the United Kingdom. This conversation is an excerpt from the latest Lalita Look at Cruise podcast. If you want to hear the full episode, make sure you follow the links in the description. But for now, let's talk to Emma Cruises. Now, what folks may know or not know, we're recording this on the 31st of March, but I'm not actually published this, or haven't published this until probably a week or so from now. And at that time, unbeknownst to many, I will be on a transatlantic cruise, leaving from New York City, making my way eventually to Rotterdam in the Netherlands with a couple stops in the UK. And so I am so excited because this is my very first opportunity to go anywhere in Europe. And this will be the first time that I go to the UK. But it brought to mind, and I messaged you the other day, I don't really know what I'm supposed to do. So you live fairly close to a cruise port there, Southampton. What would you say to people that are coming to the UK for the first time or coming to Southampton for the first time that don't really have any kind of European experience? What should people do when they come to the UK for the first time? What would you
Oh
recommend?
my goodness. Well, that's hard to do. If you're only going to be in England for a day or two, that's quite tricky. And I know we had this conversation about is it worth going into London? I think if you're only going to do a day or two in the UK, you've got a couple of stops, probably it's worth going into London. London's very, very exciting. But also, we have so much more than that. I will say a lot of the excursions and things that cruise lines offer in the UK, you really do not need them. We're set up for walking absolutely everywhere. So if you want to walk to anything, I've never found anywhere I can't walk to. And also our trains and our buses are pretty easy too. So don't assume that because the cruise line says you need this bus to get somewhere that you really do. I did a British Isles cruise last year, didn't do a single excursion. That was no problem at all. You know, you can easily use the cruise line's website for inspiration, see what they suggest the top things are to do, and then just book your own tickets, walk there, get on a train. It's pretty easy like that. It's, you know, all the ports that you will go to are places where just regular people live. They're not kind of built for tourism. It's just a normal, normal city, which I find different from if I'm taking a cruise somewhere like the Caribbean and you get off and you can tell this is for the cruise. If you're going to go to somewhere like Liverpool, you're just on the side of a normal city. Everyone's just going about their normal day.
Awesome. So just some tactical basic things, like public transportation. When I was in Australia, what worked well is you could just tap your credit card and use the public transport. You didn't have to worry about buying tickets or converting money or anything like that. What's the public transport like in the UK?
Yeah, we're pretty. Most of us use contactless on our cards for most things. We still accept cash, but cash really isn't a thing. I go months and months without using any cash. You can buy tickets online for the trains if you wanted to do that, or they have the machines around, but still they're contactless. Same with the buses. So if you did want to use cash, you can, but I don't think that you need to. Really, it's easier just to contactless. If you're like in London and you're on the tube, you just tap in, you just tap out. It works it out for you.
What's it like to interact with people, say like in London? So I've lived in the South in the United States for a long time.
Yeah,
You're almost trained here to smile and talk to everybody. Sometimes when you go to
yeah,
the northern states and you're starting to talk to people on the street, they're looking at you like you're a weirdo. So what's it
yeah.
like in the UK? Are they used to, like, is there a lot of interaction with people? Do Americans annoy people in the UK? What do you what should be expected?
I mean, I think we have the same sort of thing here, and people would say that us in the south, we're less friendly than people in the north. And I recently took a cruise from Newcastle, which is about as north as you can go, and everyone there was so unbelievably friendly. So I think I agree. But in London, most people just sort of, it's the same as New York, I think. I think New Yorkers and Londoners are very, very similar in that people are walking fast, they've got somewhere to go. It's probably a bit rainy, a bit drizzly. and people generally don't talk to each other unless they have a reason to. People are just too busy. Uh, I don't know. I mean, it's very loud in London, so it's not like it's not like silent and you're the only person talking. It's not like that. I took a cruise where we ended in Japan, and being on those trains was really strange for me as a tourist because it was so quiet. It's not like that in London. It's so loud.
Lot of hustle and bustle. If you
Yeah.
are in London, so what, in my mind, if I when I go to London, I've got to see
Mhm.
something from the royal family, right? I got to go to the Tower of London or go to Buckingham or something like
Yeah.
that. But then in my mind, I also see the Eye of London, which is very iconic,
Mhm.
double decker
Yeah.
bus, that kind of thing.
Yep.
What's something that's not touristy like that that's a must do in London, like some hidden museum, or is there anything that you would recommend that people should see in London, or is it just those iconic things?
Oh my goodness. I mean, I think for me, it's hard because, when you're just so used to things and we just walk past things and just go in a pub that's like 400 years old and I don't even look at it because I'm so used to it. I will say, I think the easiest thing to do in London is people think that all of these things like, the London Eye and the London Bridge and stuff, they think that they're close together and it's really not. So I would either get a tube, go on the tube on the underground, or get the hop on hop off bus so that you don't waste time because there's so much to see. That's what, yeah. I think if you think, oh, I'm just going to walk over there, just over that bridge, just to Buckingham Palace, just to the park, you can, but it will. By the end, you'll have done like 30,000 steps. So, yeah,
Oh wow. Yeah. All right. So here's this has been bothering me the whole conversation. I don't think it's bothering me, but what are we supposed to call? What are we supposed to call the UK? Is it UK? Is it Great Britain? Is it England? What how can you educate us uneducated on what we're supposed to call the UK these days?
okay, so I took this British Isles cruise, and people were very. I stuck to the definition of like Britannica.org or something, which I thought would be the main site for what is the UK, what is Britain, what is England. Um, if you just say the UK, you're not going to go wrong at all. So maybe just stick with that. Uh, but yeah, it's just tricky in Ireland. That's the thing, because the south of Ireland isn't in with us.
That's the main thing I've been trying to not offend anybody. So I think that's why I just refer to it as the UK because I know there's a lot of
Yeah,
intricate history there, and I'm going to Ireland and Scotland and all
I
those
think
different
I do.
places. So yeah, I don't want to. I'm only got a
Yeah,
couple stops there on this trip that I would be on now when this is published. I'm really excited
yeah.
because I'm going really to the Scandinavian countries. I'm going to like Copenhagen and
Hmm.
Amsterdam, and I can't wait to
Yeah,
experience that. But then in June, I'll be spending a longer time doing the British Isles cruise. I'm so
yeah.
excited about it. I can't
Oh, good.
imagine.
Amazing. I can't
Yeah,
wait. I
I
can't wait
can't
for you to
imagine
do
what's
it. But yeah, I mean, the cruise lines call it a British Isles cruise, so you will have people comment and be like, But to be fair, my British Isles cruise stopped in France, and that's definitely
yeah.
not Britain. So
Yeah, I have a stop in France too. So that's what I'm trying to figure out to
yeah,
do the like can I get to Paris
just
from
say,
Le Havre or whatever?
yeah, just say you're going to the UK and France, and then that covers everything, and you're fine.
That's right.
When are you going
Okay,
to need
good.
to say this anyway?
I probably
Someone's
won't.
going to
Well,
come up to
when
you
I'm
and be like,
talking
"Who's
about
this?"
it, like, yeah, probably not in country, but when I'm recapping it, because I found out people are very particular about it because I was just talking about, Australia in any way, right? Like, oh, there's a
Mhm.
lot of beaches in Sydney, and people are like, you're an idiot. Of course, there's a lot of
Yeah,
beaches in Sydney. I'm like, I've stepped into a landmine of wrongness here, just trying to talk about my experience. So I'm just trying to
yeah.
get, I'm talking to an
Well,
expert here. So I'm
I
trying to make
say
sure.
I said, just say the UK and it'll be fine. But going back to what we say about there's nothing you can say on the internet that's right. I said the other day, I am from the UK, which is the most factual thing. And someone was like, you shouldn't call it the United Kingdom. We're not united. And I was like, oh my
Uh,
goodness. It's literally on my passport. I'm from the UK. So wouldn't worry too much about it.
So you guys have the new king over there now, and I don't think you follow the royal stuff too intensely, but what do you think? Do you think that Harry should come to the coronation or no? There it is, and I'm sorry to leave you hanging. Does Emma think that Prince Harry should come to the coronation? Well, you're going to have to go over to the podcast channel to find out. You can get the La Lita Loca Cruise podcast in audio form at all of your podcasting locations, or you can watch the video of it on the La Lita Loca Presents YouTube channel. This is episode 30. I will leave a link in the description. Thank you so much for checking out the show today. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing, hitting the like button. This is Tony for La Lido Loca. Until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.